Welcome to the Growth in Life virtual mentoring series. Today's installment is on changing for the better, staying motivated to achieve your goals. Our speakers today are myself, Lynn, the co-founder of Petite to Queen, along with our Director of Music and Web, Amanda.
Hello.
And our Director of Operations and Communications, Rachel.
Hi there.
Let's get started with establishing a good reason to make a change. So Amanda, could you take us through this?
Absolutely. Well, before you set out to achieve your goals or even determine what exactly your goals are, you need to make sure you know why you want to change this thing in your life or about you. Why are you doing this? Are you doing this because you notice something in your life that is negatively affecting you or the people you care about? Or are you doing this because you want to? Or are you doing this because someone else told you that you should? If your heart isn't in it, if you're not truly committed to making this change, it's unlikely that you'll have the motivation and determination that it takes to really succeed at it. Make sure you look into yourself and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Be honest when you answer that question, because that will be the single greatest indicator of your success in achieving your goals. I have a story to kind of illustrate this idea. I had a family member who was an alcoholic. He always told me the first step in solving a problem is recognizing you have one. In his case, he was aware of his drinking problem. The next step is truly wanting to solve the problem. My family member wavered on this one, naturally, as that's how addiction tends to work. When his heart was in it, he made great progress. But when it wasn't, no amount of help and support from me or anyone else was enough to get him to quit drinking. Like this relative of mine, you must be ready and determined if you're to succeed. There are other things to consider too. How will this change affect your life? Will it make your life better? How might it make your life more difficult? Be prepared for all that will come with making this change, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Some goals are very difficult to reach, and it will take a lot of strength and willpower. Be prepared for setbacks and small failures, and be ready to push through that on your path. It may not be easy, but if you truly want it, it'll be worth the effort and the time. So Lynn, what do you have to add about establishing the good reason?
Well, absolutely. Recognizing the need or the desire to change is the most important element of creating an opportunity and an environment for you to move forward. Clarity is power, and it's what do you want more of and what do you want less of in your life? I mean, I think that's a big part of asking yourself why. Rachel?
Yeah, well, I think an important part of establishing your good reason is, well, once you've figured out what your reason is, write it down, because you're going to be revisiting this again and again, especially when the going gets tough. You'll need to remind yourself why this is happening, why you are doing this, and why this is important to you. And, sometimes your reason might change, or it might shift here and there, but overall it will be relatively consistent. So make sure that you have it somewhere that you can see it or find it easily.
All right. Well, let's move forward to the next slide, determining your goals. And Rachel, you were on a roll there. Will you take us through this?
Yeah, sure. So again, you're going to want to write down your goals. So the first thing when you're coming up with your goal is to make sure it's a SMART goal. SMART being an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Try to make sure that your goal fits each of those criteria is going to really determine how successful you'll be. If your goal is, achieving world peace, that's going to be pretty darn difficult. That's not realistic. What you need to make sure is that it's something that you can measure and something tangible, right? It needs to be something that you can point to and say, look, this is the change that I made. It needs to be something that you can realistically achieve. World peace is something that one person simply can't do, but maybe something that you can do is help mediate an argument between your friends, or be yourself a kinder or more tolerant or more compassionate person. But thinking of things like being more compassionate, you do need to make sure that what you're doing is something tangible and measurable. If you want to be more compassionate, maybe something that you should say is making sure that you try to understand the other person's point of view and reminding yourself to do that. And then every day that you do it, mark that down. Now, your goals might be a little flexible. I mentioned earlier that your reason might change, but your goals might change according to your abilities. You might recognize that you were overambitious or maybe underambitious, and that you can change what you achieve based on that. You might have shifting interests, so maybe you start out with one direction and you decide that, maybe what I don't really want to do is actually crocheting. What I'm really more interested in is needlepoint to express my creativity, and that's fine. Shifting the specifics of your goals is perfectly great, but don't give up too easily on them. Because you find that you were ambitious with what your goal might have been doesn't mean that you have to give up altogether. Just move the goalpost a little bit closer to you so that you can get there. Or maybe you keep your goal exactly where it was, but set up smaller sub goals for you to achieve and work towards. And then sooner or later, you will get to where you want it to be. Amanda, do you have anything to add about your goals?
I do. One thing I've read is be stubborn about your goals and flexible about your methods. Once you have a clear goal in mind, it's a very good idea to map out how you'll reach it. You can accomplish A, B, and C, and you'll be well on your way to achieving that goal. But as with all plans, you have to be prepared for something going wrong or not panning out as you'd expect. As such, you must be willing and able to find new paths that lead to your destination. Another thing I'd like to reiterate, which you already touched on, Rachel, is that your goals might change. Even after determining your goals and mapping out how to achieve them, sometimes they simply change, and that's okay. Life happens, people evolve from one year to the next, and sometimes what we thought we wanted isn't quite what we want anymore. It's okay to change course along the way. Lynn, what would you like to add?
My piece would be don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to reach your goals. Think big. When you break it down, there are long-term, the long-term achievements, they have many micro steps that you build upon, one after another, that ultimately result in realizing your breakthrough goal. So, just don't be afraid. Go for it. So let's see, where are we at next? When your motivation wanes. Okay, well, I'm going to talk about this and in a word, the ennui. The ennui we all have moments of, that feeling of weariness and boredom. I think it's so important to remain mindful of your focus and keep your eyes on the prize. You need to have a support network and sounding board throughout your days, your weeks, your months, so you have that those people who can be there for you. You need to recognize that it's okay to take a break, to refresh and recharge. One practice that I would like to recommend is called the Rule of 5. So make room in your life each day to do 5 things that will move you towards your goal. And these can be these tiny baby micro steps. When you keep your goals top of mind, you will have better results. I mean, that's how it works. And so when you share your progress with your support network and the people who are your sounding boards, and you are letting them know your progress on the actions and what you're doing, all of that keeps that top of mind. It reminds you why you're doing this, and they're right there in step with you to help you achieve your goals. Amanda, what are your thoughts when your motivation wanes?
It's so normal and common for your motivation to wane a bit, especially when we have such high goals. You knew it was going to be difficult, and it's perfectly okay to feel your motivation waver and even make you want to give up altogether. But if you really want it, don't. It's okay to lighten up, give yourself a few days or weeks off, and really think about how you go about this. You might need to find a new path to reach your goal. You might need to accept a new time frame. As I mentioned before, be flexible about your methods. And while you're going through this period of uncertainty, always be kind to yourself. Treat yourself the same way you'd treat your sister or your best friend if she were in the same position you're in now. You wouldn't tear her down and say how unrealistic or lazy or stupid she is. You tell her that she's amazing and smart and hardworking, and you'd offer to help out however you can. So give yourself a break and treat yourself to a nice meal or a movie or a bubble bath, anything that will make you feel better. Then remind yourself of how determined you are and how great it will feel once you reach your goal. And don't feel bad about this setback. It's easier said than done, but just remember, nearly everyone who's successful has to face hardships on their way to success. This is just the dramatic part of your story, but you're still on your way to the happy ending. Rachel, is there anything else you'd like to add to this?
Yeah, just one extra thing. So what Amanda and Lynn have both talked about is being kind to yourself and giving yourself that uplifting pep talk that you might need. You know, you've done so much good work so far, and this is normal and okay. But sometimes it's okay, actually often it's okay to go to your friends or family and loved ones and seek some affirmation. Let them know that you're feeling a little down and ask them if they've noticed any progress in you. And more likely than not, they will remind you that yes, you have made a lot of progress and you are amazing and capable of doing anything that you want. And I think that that's going to be very helpful. There's a lot of power in being able to motivate yourself, but there's nothing wrong for asking for help.
You bet. Absolutely. All right. So let's talk about getting back on track. And Rachel, how about you let us know how you get back on track?
Well, it can be tough. So Amanda mentioned earlier, be stubborn about your goals, but flexible about your methods. I mean, what we've mentioned so far is that you can be a little bit flexible about your goals. So be a little flexible about your goals, but be more flexible about your methods. It's about setting yourself up for success. A particular method failing for you doesn't mean that you are a failure. It just means that the method failed and it didn't work well for you. So consider a new approach. Think about your strengths and what you think has gone wrong with the approach that you were taking before. What about it was so hard? Was it something that you were trying to do every single day and you got tired? So maybe you should try working on this 5 days a week. Maybe it was that you had a very monotonous method or a daily routine and you found yourself getting bored. So change it up and find a way that it's going to work out for you. But again, consider what you've accomplished so far. We've mentioned this before. You've made progress, and your motivation has waned or you have found yourself sliding backwards a bit. That's okay. That's normal. Be proud of what you did accomplish. Be proud of how far you've come, and acknowledge milestones that you passed along the way, and give yourself a pat on the back and treat yourself a little bit. You know, if you need to take a day off, if you want to go throw yourself a party or watch a movie or do anything that you want, go ahead and do it because you deserve it. But finally, remember that you can start anywhere. And what I mean by that is that you don't need to wait for a specific time or a specific day. If you have gotten off track from what you were trying to do, don't wait until Monday to get back on track unless you feel you need an extra couple of days. You don't have to wait for the next cycle to begin of perhaps a class that you're taking or whatever it may be. Do whatever is accessible and something that you can do right then. So if it's about being more productive during the work week or being more productive overall, don't wait for Monday to get started. If it's a Thursday afternoon, get up and do something, accomplish something on your to-do list. You don't have to wait. And take small steps. So a lot of the times we try to make these giant leaps and bounds towards our goals, but as Lynn mentioned earlier, it's a lot of micro steps. So start with one tiny thing that is going to get you back on track, and you will feel so much better about yourself that you have done something to continue moving yourself towards your ultimate goal, and that is going to make you feel powerful, and your motivation will be recharged. And do you have anything to add?
Oh, that was great, Rachel. And, I'm going to get back to asking a friend or family member to help you get back on track. And, I've been talking about your support network, your sounding boards. Um, this is really about the power of accountability. And when you share every little micro step and every bit of your progress, you're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then your friends and family are going to be able to help you get back on track. And I would definitely use those as a resource. Amanda, what are your thoughts?
You've both made such great points. I just want to reiterate what Rachel was saying about starting anywhere. You always hear what they say, why put off for tomorrow what you can accomplish today? Once you've made up your mind, you can start right now if you want to. You can pick up right where you left off, and you can start at 50% power before revving up to 100% power. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be full force. But you can just start with a simple baby step, and that'll be the first step on the way to getting back completely on track.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so let's talk about maintaining your motivation. And Amanda, will you, share with us your thoughts on maintaining motivation while you're in this process for change?
Sure. Well, how do you maintain motivation and keep it going even when the times get tough? One of my favorite ways is the buddy system. For example, going to the gym 3 days a week might be one of your goals or a component in reaching another goal. But going to the gym is so hard. I often feel lazy. I don't want to change into my workout clothes. I don't want to drive all the way to the gym. It's cold outside, it's dark. I'd rather curl up with a book and a cup of hot chocolate. One of the best ways to stop sabotaging your own goals is to put it on someone else. Bring a buddy along. You and your friend or roommate or significant other will go to the gym together, and you're less likely to bail, and you'll feel worse if you do. It's also more fun to work out with someone. This can work for all kinds of goals and activities. My sister and cousin each wanted to meet a writing goal over the summer, and they held each other accountable in meeting their daily writing quotas. On a related note, if you don't have a specific buddy or you want extra motivation on top of that, you can go public. Tell family and friends about your goals. Post them on Facebook. A lot of us feel more motivated to do something when there are others who know about it and will hold us accountable. They can also be very encouraging. It feels great when someone tells you what a terrific job you're doing. For me, it's the same way being in a class makes me feel much more likely to actually do or reach my goal. I've been teaching myself piano, and it's going well enough, but I can be kind of lazy about actually practicing every night. I'm planning to start taking classes, and having a teacher to impress and real homework to do will definitely keep me on my schedule much better. I need that outside pressure sometimes, as many of us can. Finally, keeping a journal is another great idea. It can help you keep track of everything you've accomplished so far and will motivate you to keep going. Rachel, what would you like to add?
Well, I think you made a lot of great points here. And maintaining motivation it's really about the people around you. So whether you have a specific buddy or whether you go in public, what's important is to find supportive people who are going to encourage you either by coming along with you to whatever activity it is that you're trying to do, or who are just going to cheer you on through comments on your Facebook and Instagram. But it's also important for you to tune out the people who are bringing you down, even if it's coming from a kind place, trying to pull you away from your goal, or maybe people who are just negative overall, saying, "Oh, you can't do this." Those are definitely people you want to tune out. But even the people who are pulling you away from your goal, even with the best intentions, be careful and make sure that you're surrounded by people who are going to help you. Lynn, anything else?
Well, besides the rule of five I mentioned earlier, I have this practical idea to frame your goals. So what I mean is that you take the different steps, milestones to achieve your breakthrough goal, and you put them into a graphic, or it's just words, or it's just the goal, and then you put them in a frame, and you put a couple frames. You can get these at secondhand stores, anywhere, but you strategically place these in prominent locations so you can see them, so you can remind yourself, and you're just visually going, yeah, those are my goals. This is what I want to achieve. So that's a very practical way that you can help yourself maintain your motivation. Another idea is to purchase inspirational flashcards or make them yourselves. And once again, just keep those in different places so that when you feel like you need that pick me up, you just grab the flashcard and it reminds you of your goal and why you're working towards achieving that. So that's a very practical idea that can help you keep going. All right, so the big payoff, I'm going to take the lead on this side, and I think that the most, when you're concentrate your focus, and it's one of the keys to success for achieving your goals. And every day, every week, you want to acknowledge your wins. And the smallest proactive step forward is a win. For me, sometimes it's just talking about what I'm, need to deal with or need to, decide on a course of action. And that is still a win, because that's a step. I'm thinking about it. I'm talking about it. I'm approaching it in a different way, a different method, right? And the accumulation of your wins, they move you forward, week after week, day after day, or maybe it's day after day, week after week, right? And you absolutely need to forgive yourself for your missteps. It's you have to look for the opportunities to learn and grow. And they really do help you keep focused and on track. So remember to welcome flexibility, to pivot and decide on new choices. Your journey evolves along the way. And you absolutely need to be ready to accept your next big breakthrough when you complete and you've accomplished your first. Let's see. Amanda, what would you like to add?
You've made so many great points on this slide, and I just want to reiterate, be proud of what you've accomplished and recognize how great you're doing. Celebrate it with friends, with family, with your colleagues. Whoever knows and cares about this goal will want to celebrate it with you. And even once you've achieved your goal, know that there's still so much ahead to look forward to. What do we do after we reach a goal? We come up with a new one to work towards. It can be a goal that's related to or a continuation of the one you just achieved. It can be a goal that's completely different and unrelated to the one you just reached. There's always more to do and more to reach for, so be excited about starting this whole process over again as you embark on your new path towards that next goal. Rachel, what would you like to add?
Well, I just want to highlight exactly what you were saying there, Amanda, about continuing to look forward. Life is simply a series of goals, and you're always trying to move forward. So keep looking forward to consider what your next goal might be. We're always working to become even better, stronger, and kinder people. So find ways to achieve that and never, ever stagnate, because then you'll find yourself bored and you might start to feel poorly about yourself. So make sure that you're always, always continuing to move forward while celebrating every single milestone and every single day.
Very well said. Very well said. Oh my goodness. Thank you both. And thank you to all our members and guests who joined us for this installment of the Growth in Life virtual mentoring series, and for being part of the dialogue here at Petite to Queen. If you have a question or would like to suggest topics for discussion, we're all ears. So please email us at jointheconversation@petitetoqueen.com.